Assalamu alaikum everybody, welcome back to the core English communication module. Today we're going to be talking about voice. This is the fourth module and the first part to the fourth module. So let's get started. The first we're going to talk about is individual research question. So you will be expected to deliver an individual oral presentation in front of your teacher and some of your classmates. And you'll all be expected to present information in a clear, coherent, and interesting, focusing not only on what you say, but how you say it. So you may be given a theme or be asked to choose a topic to talk about. So it is important that before you give your presentation, you prepare for it thoroughly and research and plan what you intend to do. So the main thing about whenever presenting a presentation and using your voice, which is the main topic of this presentation, this lecture, it's all about confidence. So you feel much more confident about your presentation if you know what you're going to talk about and if you know that you are fully prepared. Okay, so research skills. Your presentation will require a certain amount of research to be completed before you present your chosen topic. So research skills are important and can be used to help you prepare and revise for the exams, but only if you approach them in the right way. So the following lists things to do and things not to do in the following slides, will help you to approach your research in a more productive way. Okay, so things to do. Number 1, make sure you are fully equipped before you begin your research. So you will need to, it's best to have a notepad, a pen, and some highlighters ready. So before you begin your research, make sure you are certain which topic you are going to be covering in your presentation, and you don't want to spend hours researching one topic only to change your mind later, okay? So make headings under which you write your notes in. So this will help you to remain organized and save time when you begin to write your presentation. So if your chosen topic was the Olympics, you might make the headings like different sports, locations around the world, or history, for example. So we're still in the things to do list. If you make your notes on a PC or laptop, make sure you save your work regularly. So your research should be an activity or where you remain fully engaged and alert, and not simply one where you endlessly make notes thinking about what you write. So consider carefully what you read and only make notes of the facts that you think are important, okay? So make a note of your information, just in case your information came from such as the web address or a book title. So just in case you need to go back and check something at a later date, for example. So things not to do. Don't simply print off huge amounts of information from the internet and convince yourself that you have completed lots of research. It is important to read the information carefully and only use the details that you think are relevant to your presentation, okay? So don't just photocopy pages or copy facts down from a book either. It's more productive to also highlight the passages that will help you then create your own notes from these, okay? So you must have a clear idea of what you are looking for before you begin your research. So be careful about which internet sites you use. Some are written by students as projects and they might not be completely accurate. So try to use trusted ones or hosted well by your known providers. Okay. So next topic is standard English. You will be expected to use standard English when making your presentation. This means you should avoid informal language at all times. Slang is a word to describe some of the everyday informal language that you generally use with your family or friends. For example, the word mate is a slang for the standard English word friend. Or if you were greeting an important visitor, you would probably say good morning, but as a friend you might say all right, asking all right, so like hi, or if you're okay. You should also try to avoid using too many informal abbreviations, such as wouldn't and shouldn't. I would not and they should not are much more appropriate, okay? Using the full words rather than the abbreviations. So remember, you might feel uncomfortable at first, but when you make a formal presentation, your audience will expect standard English not to be used. So when you do practice your presentation, always use standard English, as this will ensure you are fully prepared and to use it on the day of the actual presentation. So vocabulary. It is also essential to consider carefully the vocabulary that you use in your presentation. So your vocabulary should be wide-ranging and sophisticated. And you could think in a particular about using words that are linked to the topic you've chosen to discuss. For example, if you have chosen to do a presentation on bullying, you might want to think about some specialist words. So in this case, you might want to use vocabulary such as cyberbullying, discrimination, prejudice, or isolation as per se. So don't be afraid of using some vocabulary that is new to you. The audience will expect you to learn new things when they listen to your presentation, so it's important that you try to be adventurous when it comes to vocabulary choices, okay? So remember, your use of vocabulary must be very accurate, so a dictionary will be very useful when checking the definition of new words. A thesaurus will help you to expand your vocabulary and ensure that you are using a wide range of word choices. As we have mentioned a thesaurus before, and if you do remember, I said a thesaurus would be your best friend whenever writing any passage, any text, any article. It's always good to have a thesaurus on your side just to develop your writing skills and using more word choices. So, however, it's also important that you are comfortable with your choice of vocabulary, as I have emphasized before, and don't use complex words because you think they sound better. They should add something to the content of your talk. Okay, so planning and structuring English. One of the key things you will be expected to organize and present your information is to do it in a highly structured and purposeful way. So before your presentation, think about an interesting topic, an angle for your topic. So how can you ensure your audience members feel as if they have learned something new? So plan your presentation. Think about how to structure your ideas. Prepare cue cards so that you are not tempted to read out your talk. So cue cards are basically little cards that you may have whilst presenting to the class instead of reading from the board, or just like have little pieces of paper in your hand ready, and you can just look at them by you reading the keywords on the paper when presenting. And practice your presentation. The more you practice, the more comfortable you will sound. Okay, so during the presentation, stay focused on your topic. Remember the order of ideas. Focus on how the audience are responding and be ready to cut or develop ideas, okay? Also, below is a suggested structure that you can use for your presentation regardless of the topic you have chosen. Okay, so we would first start with an introduction. So here you should introduce your chosen topic and explain why it's important to you. You should also include a few brief facts about your topic in order to engage the interest of your audience. And the main body of the text would be, in this section, you should include some of the interesting information that you have discovered in your research, and you should aim to cover at least 5 main points about your topic, providing interesting facts and anecdotes, statistics, and pieces of evidence to add interest to the points you are making. Conclusion. In the conclusion, you should briefly sum up all the main points you have made and thank your audience for listening. You should also ask if any audience members have any questions they would like to ask. Sentence starters. You might like to think about some possible sentences starters to help to help highlight for your audience when you are beginning to discuss a new point. Okay, so examples I have already mentioned before, and I don't think I need to go through them because you must remember them. So about sentence starters, for example, however, linking the paragraphs together, using keywords, furthermore, connectives, if you do remember when I mentioned them as well. Okay, so moving on. Body language and delivery. There are several important points to remember when delivering your presentation, okay? So you will be expected to make eye contact with your audience. You must read your presentation from a piece of paper, but you must not read your presentation from a piece of paper, but should look at members of the audience to engage them with your talk. If you are using PowerPoint slides, don't read them to the audience. Remember, your delivery aim to be fluent and to avoid any hesitations. So think about the body language that you'll be using, and you should stay still and face the front so that all the members of the audience can see you. So when you are asked a question at the end of the presentation, it is important that you answer clearly and give plenty of detail. This part is still an important aspect of your presentation, okay? So your research must be through and contain organized ideas. The more you practice your presentation, the more prepared and confident you will be. Your presentation is expected to last no more than 10 minutes most of the time, and including time for questions from the audience. So you can use, this time limit does vary depending on what topic. So I will just highlight that it does vary sometimes, okay, depending on your lecturer and whoever's the person teaching you, obviously, and whatever topic they may teach. So you can use images and objects as props. You must not read your presentation from pages of text, but you can refer to bullet points or cue cards. Remember to use standard English at all times, and when making your presentation, you must keep still and avoid shuffling your feet or waving your arms. Focus on your audience. Okay, so now it's your turn. Here are some examples of people speaking in several different contexts on a variety of subjects. Watch and listen to the way they present the information, and they have all prepared and have researched what they're going to say. So listen out for the language they use and the varying vocabulary, pace, and clarity they have in their voice. So watch their videos and take notes of the way of talking and presenting, of their way of talking and presenting. Okay, so these are some people, for example, Mary Black, Malala Yousafzai, which I'm sure all of you will be aware of, Professor Brian Cox, Jacob Rees, David Cameron. So these are just links, and if I take you to one, let's try one. So if I open that link, it will take you somewhere. So let's see if this works. So it's brought us over here, and then you just play the video, okay? And then just think.
But if I may answer the main question,
and just
I think we
on
absolutely
the delivery and the speech that they're talking about, okay? So I will let you do this on your own time instead of me recording the presentation. The talk for you. You can just click on these different names and pick whoever you want to see, okay? All right then. So I hope you enjoy this activity. It is fun. I'm sure there's all little highlights that you can go through and whoever you prefer best. So now it's your turn. We've already done that. So next lesson will be about interview skills. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. It was very informative. And I hope you enjoy the activity too. Next lesson we'll be talking about interview skills. So take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Take care.